Hello and welcome to Survived Unexpected. My partners in crime, Amanda Bryan and James Hansen. And today we are joined by Justin Vreeland for one of our host interviews. He's the host of Survivor Super Duper. He's also the winner of Broski Season 2, Animation All Stars, runner up in Survivor Tour, and he also lost in Fire Making and Broski All Stars. He is obviously one of the pioneers of orgs community probably right around now. So we're very excited for him to join us. I just want to start off with I want to get your thoughts on the last two seasons, Survivor 41 and 42. They're pretty much like copy and paste seasons. With the days and the twists and all that jazz. How'd you feel about the last two seasons?
So the format was the same, but like my feelings towards the seasons are extremely different. Like, I don't know, season 41, the cast just did not do it for me at all. I feel like it just wasn't it. And even like introducing those twists, I don't know. It played a bigger factor than it did in 42, I feel like. Like, first of all, I mean, you guys know the hourglass twist, absolutely hate it. It's probably the stupidest thing I've ever seen. So that bothers me either way.
I greatly agree.
Like, oh, it's such a decision to
awful.
make. No, it's not. They're gonna smash they're gonna smash it every single time. Like, what decision is there?
Not every time. We can talk about that later.
Every time. The only person that would not have smashed it was Roxroy, and he smashed it.
Yeah, like if he's even gonna smash it, everybody smash it because that guy doesn't even know what's going on.
Would you smash? We're already gonna get this conversation. I love it. Would you smash it though if all of your allies were on the team that won and you knew you'd be safe?
Yes.
I mean, that's it.
I mean, you never know what's going to happen at that merge.
Would you reverse your allies' outcome if you knew you were safe?
Yes, because there's going to be we won't be no majority. It's 3 tribes.
But you'd still be safe.
You wouldn't be. How would you be safe if there's only 3 other people on that side?
Being safe by relying on your allies is what I mean.
But how will we have majority? There's no sense. There's
right.
No
if all your allies are. Yeah, if all your allies are going to be safe, then that means I'm not safe with none of my allies. I'm not taking that risk.
You keep yourself unsafe, so all your allies were safe because you knew that they would have your back and keep you safe.
So then I go home and don't even make the jury. I'm good.
It's not a single. It's not like there's 2 tribes where you're going in the numbers 8 to 4 or something like that. Merge. There's 3 tribes, and even the blue tribe from 41, they all made it there, and they all instantly wanted to go after each other.
Yeah, I'm not taking any chances. I'm saving myself. Do I sound better now, by the way?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, because I left and rejoined. I think it's better. But I'm still driving, so I'll be off camera.
Especially since we've made it known that the person who gets voted out at that time doesn't make jury. That makes me even more so 100% smash. I'm making sure I'm on the jury.
It's possible that someone could say. It's possible.
Not in the 3 tribe format.
Okay.
Now,
on like 7 idols, then it's possible.
I got a question for you guys. Like, so do you think if Sydney and Lydia, like, if we didn't have to deal with that twist, that they both could have made it pretty far, or do you think they both would have went soon anyways? Because
I think they're both toast either way.
I think Lydia would have made a decent run because I think she might have been in Romeo's spot.
Yeah, I mean, she might have like made it a bit further, but like I don't think she was gonna be in a good position regardless, really. And Sydney, she was absolutely toast regardless.
Yeah.
She would have been great TV though.
Sydney. They hated her.
Yeah, I mean nobody liked her, so like that just wasn't gonna work out.
She'll never come back.
No.
So besides the hourglass twist, how'd you feel? You said you enjoyed 42 and didn't enjoy 41, correct?
Yeah, 42. I don't know. The cast, they were all playing hard. I feel like, and in 41, it was like, oh, we have like 2 people playing hard, and then nobody else seems to really be doing anything. And then, like this season, it just seemed like everybody was trying to make moves and make stuff happen constantly.
I feel like the editing with the season also hurt it because with all the interviews we got after 41, Heather and Eric were more of a duo that controlled more of the game that we got to see. That
Yeah,
we did not get we didn't get to see, which is the fault of the producers, not
right.
the people on the island itself.
And that made it seem very unsatisfying to see her win when it seemed like, oh, well, Heather is an absolute goat who was not even shown the whole season, and then Erica was like one step above her, basically. Like,
I think she had a record low confessional for a finalist. I believe one of the lowest confessional scores
For a winner or a finalist?
for a finalist.
Oh,
I'm talking about Heather. Yeah, for a finalist, she had one of the lowest confessional counts for a finalist ever.
Yeah, and Erica had to have had one of the lowest for a winner too. I think.
did. Yeah, I remember seeing
Did
that.
too. I think there's a chart somewhere that shows, like confessionals per winner and how it ranks.
It's just disappointing that we find out like all this stuff that they did within the season, because I listened to all the aftermath of the interviews and all that jazz, and to hear that Heather and Erica got Raw added for reasons I have no idea. It's not like they had like roaring characters out there that like I'm not a big Xander fan. I know that he has his fans, but I was like, take it or leave it.
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like we had people that were on this season that like needed the screen time.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah,
they
like
could have got it.
41 and 42 cast are like don't even compare in my opinion. Like 42's was miles better than 41. Like in terms
I
of
still felt like though when I watched 41, I didn't mind the cast, but if you put it up against 42, it's going to lose every time. I didn't hate the cast in 41.
After watching 41, I was like, okay, that was okay. And then I watched, like, after watching 42, I was like, wait, 41 was even worse than I thought it was. Like,
Yeah.
I think because we hadn't had Survivor in so long that 41 seemed like it was fine.
That's what I think too. Yeah.
And then after watching 42, it was like, wait, 41 was only okay because we hadn't had Survivor in forever. And it was actually
I'm like in the like early 30s with 41, maybe 28 area type thing. Like it's not high on my rankings.
Yeah.
It's just not one of the worst seasons I've seen. There's been some bad seasons of Survivor, and people forget that like it's a prisoner moment. Go watch some of these seasons; they're not good seasons.
Yeah.
I think it's bottom 10, but not bottom 5 is where I would put it.
Really? I don't have it that low. I have 41 kind of maybe lower mid range, but not as low as you guys do. I don't think I have it.
And then I think 42, I would have it just outside of my top 10 probably.
Yeah, I have 42 at 9, and I have 41 at 37. So huge gap for me. Very huge gap.
So who are some of the characters that stood out for you in 42 then?
I mean, I like Jonathan. I know a lot of people don't, but I mean, I'm a challenge beast, so I like challenge beasts. I always have.
Makes sense.
Lindsay was cool. Drea was cool. I'm missing somebody that I liked. Mike. Yeah, I liked Mike. So there was a lot of people I liked in this. And like 41, I mean, I liked Danny, and that was pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, I enjoyed. I think it was nice for 42 is that like the final 9-ish on you almost everybody could win except for Romeo.
Yeah, and that's what I love too. Is like literally all these people are great, and, like entertaining, other than Romeo. He's there, but everyone else is cool.
Yeah, so it was like man, like at each episode, it felt like everybody's rankings changed because somebody did a different move or made a different change within the game. So it was very exciting to see. I don't get me wrong. If they take the twists away, I think people are totally in love with this season and not even thinking about this being a bad season at all or anything like that. I think if you don't have the hourglass twist, the do or die twist, just take those two twists out of it. The hourglass twist, the do or die twist, and like this is a completely different season. Like the hourglass twist, it should never be in there. It's dumb. And the do or die twist, it takes out. It does nothing.
Well, I mean, it was Final 7, right? Do we really want to see 2 people compete for immunity at Final 7? Wow,
no.
So exciting! Like,
no,
that's terrible. And like then then Lindsay almost gets penalized for being the one other person who's like, I'll take the chance, like, which was dumb.
If she wouldn't have done that, he would have won unanimously. And what kind of television is that? I mean,
okay, we don't have a challenge today. Jonathan, here's your necklace for doing nothing. Like,
right.
At Final 7, you know how important the Final 7 immunity is to win? Can you imagine just being handed to it?
Yeah.
That just blows my mind.
Yeah. I can't stand that. Take those two things out. They should never be part of the game ever again. I don't mind
And all the fans hate both of them.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's why we don't see them anymore ever again. Because one, the fans have very much clearly not liked it, and two, it wouldn't shock anybody now. So if they like tried to do that hourglass twist, we're splitting you into teams. Like, all right, I'm just gonna wait. Let's just stay here and not.
Don't pick me. Don't pick me.
Yeah, I'll wait for the hourglass to get smashed, and after we lose, then we'll be safe for no reason. Great.
Right. And they're not even like they're drawn out of the hat, and so like the last 2 seasons, it was like obvious on which team was going to win because all the big guys and the athletic people were all on one team. Yeah. And it's just like, of course they're gonna win, especially the was it 42 with the big boulder, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's like
it was obvious.
I mean, any like throughout the whole season, any like team or tribe challenge, it was like, oh well, Jonathan's gonna win this. I mean, the guy was just carried.
He really carried that whole carried his whole team and a ladder. And then I think they had said like that ladder was not light; it was like a metal ladder in the water, and just did it like it was nothing.
Which honestly makes it more shocking that he didn't win more individual immunities to me.
I was just gonna say that I'm surprised he only won a couple. But, like, it goes to show you, too, how different some of the challenges could be. Like, if some of them, just if you're that big, they just don't cater to you. Like, a lot of the stuff that involves, like, standing on something or, like the thing with your feet. Like, there is no way he didn't win that one, did he?
No, he did.
He did. He
did.
The first one he won.
Standing
which
on his
is
feet.
crazy, yeah. Okay, but anyways, I'm just saying.
Water with Tori.
I'm just saying it's hard to win, like, more than 2 or 3 challenges because they do so many different things, really. And the season did have, like, you had Tori and you had Lindsay who were also good at challenges, too.
I mean, which I found super interesting because they all the castaways would always talk about, oh, Jonathan's like a superhero. He's so good at challenges. We have to worry about him. Meanwhile, Lindsay was just as good at the individual phase, just as good. And nobody ever said, oh, Lindsay's a challenge threat, other than Jonathan. Jonathan always said it, but like other than him, nobody did.
The relationship was so interesting to be number ones in the very, very beginning. And then as the game went on, you could just see them just divide because they were really each other's only competition. It was natural for them to eventually go against each other. It was the beauty of the story type of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and we didn't really see anyone. Sorry, we didn't really see anyone like try to like break them apart either. Really, they just kind of it kind of happened on its own. Lindsay just started to get annoyed with Jonathan for whatever reason, but
I think they did a really good job. The Vati 4 to make it to 6.
Yeah.
Like that's like they should have been instantly picked off pretty early on, and. Like the fact that they got to 6, all 4 of them is like crazy to think about.
What makes it even crazy is they were working together too. It wasn't even like they were not working; they were working together, and still, just everyone was like, "That's fine.
That's fine."
People just couldn't put it in their head an Omar, Marianne, Jonathan, Lindsay alliance. They couldn't fathom it in their head. They downplayed Marianne the whole time. They didn't think that.
And what makes it really interesting
to be a threat of.
Is that 4 made it all the way to final 6 or 7, whatever it was, and then only one of them made it to the finale. Or
and we got one from each tribe made it to the final 3.
Yeah,
which is like stuff you want. Like that's what you want to see.
Other than
even Romeo at the end didn't give a bad final tribal. He gave a better final tribal than Deshaun did last season.
Yeah,
he did. To be honest with you, he probably gave a better final tribal than Mike did. Mike really did.
Mike really did shoot himself in the foot.
Yeah. He started off really bad, but then he kind of he picked it up a little bit. I thought they all actually just did pretty well. Like we've seen final travels where people are just like horrible, and I thought they were all
Xander was horrible.
Xander was really I think the problem with Mike is that he had a chance to win it, and he threw a couple votes away. and that instantly made him lose the game. Where it makes it, you see where he lost the game itself, where he had a couple votes maybe if he just answered the questions correctly,
Knowing his game.
and he didn't do that. And even when Omar was like, "Yeah, I lied to you about the high thing," he still like argued with High. He's like, "No, that was the right move."
Yeah.
He's like, "Dude, he just told you he lied to you.
Yeah,
What do you mean?"
It's
He
fine.
got played.
It happens.
So it just stuff like that, where if he just was like, "You're right, I made a mistake there," or something like that, he might have won the game. Where Mike failed Marianne succeed, and that's why she won the game.
And it was interesting too because he was like, "Oh, I was always true to my word and everything." But like I remember the one part where he told Jonathan, Lindsay, and Marianne, all of them, he was going to play his idol on them. Like, no, you clearly didn't stick to your word that well. Like, it's fine. You were kind of a villain in a way, but you're trying to act like you were the biggest saint of the season. It's like
all they wanted was him to say that. It was like, yeah, I kind of like I played up the honor role where I really played the villain role, and that's what they wanted him to do, but he wouldn't do it.
Like, I fooled y'all into thinking I was just this, saint guy, but really I was out here playing the game. And then they're like, "Oh, okay, like, all right then."
So we've covered the first 4 seasons of Survivor. How do you rank them / enjoy them? That's Borneo, Outback, Africa, and Marquesas.
Okay, so Borneo is my second least favorite season ever.
Oh my god, I know.
Okay, but here's the problem: is the fact. First of all, Probst was terrible in it. I mean, he had no idea what he was doing. The editing was terrible. The cameras were everything. It was like mostly all like technology and Jeff that made it bad for me. But also like some of the players, I hated the alphabet thing. I thought it was stupid.
Yeah.
Like, especially since I like Jenna Lewis, it made me even more annoyed that she went home because her name started with a J. Like, it was just all ridiculous. So I don't know. I didn't really care for that season. I really did like the Outback, though. I enjoyed that one. I like Colby.
They hate the Outback.
That's understandable.
I hate it. It's in my bottom 5 seasons, probably.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. I liked that one. I don't know what's.
I think it's pretty much middle of the pack for me, but that's a lot of nostalgia. But 2 was the first season I watched, and not season 1. So.
When's the last time you've seen it?
Like me,
3 years ago, probably.
Last year. Or 2 years ago.
So it's kind of recent.
Yeah.
Me and Frank watched it, and we hated it. It was so bad. We just talked about the elements the whole time.
I mean, yeah, that part isn't great, but they did that in Africa too.
Yeah, but we got like there was times in the Australian Outback that we had the immunity challenge. We go to camp, they talk about the elements, and then they go to tribal. We have no idea what's going on, like what's going to be the vote, what's debating between the vote, who's up for chopping block. We don't know what's going on.
It's really hard to follow Tina's win that season because it was hard. We couldn't see what she was doing in the sense of like running the game. So we got.
I liked some of the people though. Like I don't know.
I think it's a good cast.
Amber, Elizabeth. Like I don't know. I liked a few.
I feel like everybody besides Colby has a better season after this.
Yeah.
Even Tina. I think she did. I think she played really hard in Blood versus Water. She was older and she played her heart out in Blood versus Water. And then Colby got worse. I will give you that. But Jerry got better.
He still made Final 5 in Heroes versus Villains.
Yeah,
I think there's like 2 people that I could watch their first season, and I would, if I only saw that and never the rest of their seasons, they'd have a better view for me. Colby, and James.
Yeah, Colby definitely. Like you watch his first season, you're like, this man's a god. But then you remember All Stars and you remember Heroes versus Villains.
It's like, wait, this guy's not that good. No. He was good his great first season, but like after that, I was like,
and you really see how Tina did control the game when you see him play other seasons and see all the things that he was doing wrong getting played by all these people. It's like Tina probably did that to him. Yeah. All right, but how do you feel about Africa and Marquesas?
Africa was fine. I don't know. Like some some of these early seasons just I don't know, they just don't really do it for me, honestly. Like the
I'll give you
gameplay is
that.
not as good. There's not like a lot like any twister advantages or anything. So it's
There's
kind of
no
like
idols. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm not a huge like idol advantage fan at all. Like that's why Super Duper probably has the least of any org there is. But like
Yeah.
I still like some like when there's no anything like oh you're going home tonight. All right, I guess I'm going home tonight because I can't do. There's no threat of anything. Like
Right. If you don't win immunity, you're done.
yeah. So I
Or
don't know.
it's between these two people. If this person wins immunity, the other person goes home. If they
Yeah.
don't win, maybe you'll have a toss up.
Yeah.
Oh, our alliance has more numbers at merge. Well, we're just gonna vote 4 or 5 of you off in a row, and then maybe we'll switch it up at that point. Like I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of that in the early seasons.
See,
And
that's
then,
why
like-
Marquesas is good. Because Marquesas, you finally see that happen for the first time. Like
Mhm.
and
you
with
see
Marquesas, if Kathy would have won, I would like it a lot more. But I
Yeah.
don't know. For me, the final 2 was just so bad. I thought
It
both of
wasn't
them were
great.
terrible.
I think Vesepia was pretty good. Nalia didn't do it for me, but I would have preferred Kathy to win. She was the best player on that season.
She was, and I feel like a lot of people think Vesepia was solid. For me, she's like the worst winner possible. I feel like she didn't do anything.
Ooh, no, we just watched it. I'm telling you, she did some stuff. She literally at the final 3, one of my favorite moves. Kathy falls and she's like, "Look, Nelia, I'll give it to you right now if you take me." She goes, "Yeah." She just lets go, right in front of Kathy after she just made a deal with her at final 4.
Right. I mean, I like that play, obviously, but like, also it was like the obvious move, anyways, because Kathy, to me,
Yeah, but
was.
not for that time though.
I mean, yeah, but like,
Yeah, think about the time. Like that
Yeah.
wasn't very. That's very like unspoken to do something like that ever.
yeah, no, that's
So-
fair. That's fair.
And so like there's got to be a first for somebody to do it to make it a regular thing, or else it won't become a regular thing.
Right. No, that's fair.
So, yeah, I think Africa is it's better than Australian Outback, but and then Marquesas I think was really good. I think it was pretty good. We've seen a couple flips and blind sides, and
Mhm.
I personally like that. And the one of the best edits we've seen to this point was when he just God, what's his name, John, right? Who
Yeah.
just rolled off he's like, oh, I'm a god, and I have Pascal and Nalia for me. He's under the waterfall of the
Mhm.
and then he gets blindsided that whole episode. It's so great. It's like
Yeah.
this is one of the best edited episodes ever, where it's like he's on this big pedestal and then he immediately gets knocked off by the end of the episode. It's
I wasn't a fan of him, so I thought that was cool.
yeah, it's just like that's what you want from Survivor episodes. Like somebody who thinks there's like they're on this other level and all of a sudden gets blindsided. It's like
Yeah.
yes.
That's why the big ego characters are so fun to watch, because you want to see if they make it all the way with their big ego or if they're going to get just taken down from their throne, and more than likely or not, they're getting taken down from their throne. I thought it was just so uncanny, like not to go back to Survivor 42, but like Jonathan losing fire making, like for him to just not get voted out and to lose fire making, that was the way for him to go, and
Right.
his Survivor legacy story to just continue being amazing and not being voted out.
He's like the biggest superhero challenge beast, but then he loses to Romeo in immunity. Oh, it's fine. He still has fire. Oh, and then he loses that too.
Oh,
It
yeah.
Fire. Oh,
feels
Yeah,
very similar to me in Broski All Stars because
Yeah.
I'm the challenge person. I lost to bad challenge people, but
Yeah,
it's fine.
it happens. It happens.
Happens. Yep.
So, what is your top 5 favorite Survivor players?
Top 5 favorite Survivor players. I mean, it's all pretty basic, but it's fine. Boston Rob, Tony, Ozzy, Parvati, Wentworth. That's my top 5.
Okay.
That's
I'm
not bad.
I'm not a big Ozzy person, so
Nobody is, but
No.
again, I like challenge people.
Yeah.
I like most
Ozzy made
people.
merge every time he played.
For me,
Yeah, that's true.
I have if we go into Ozzy, I will have all the facts about why Ozzy's a great player, but like I don't know.
Ozzy's not bad.
So you talk about like things that like change the game. To me, he's the first real like whoa challenge person. Like we hadn't ever seen that before, where it's like this guy is just insanely good at these challenges. Like he can do anything. And I don't know. I just thought that was really cool.
All right,
Did you
to give you
watch
some
Rhode Island
context,
Live?
Yeah, so I actually watched, I think it was like seasons like 1 through 17 or something live, and then
Me
I
too.
stopped.
Me too.
And then I went back and watched them all in a row, like all together after 40.
Literally exactly what I did. I remember Bob being a winner, but I didn't remember JT being a winner. So I like literally stopped like right after Gabon and then watched MTV. That's probably what I did. Went on to MTV shows and then picked back up and during quarantine. And Frank,
that's exactly what I did.
Yep, and then Frank watched it with me, starting on Palau, and watched it all the way through with me because he's a homie.
So some context about my eyes, like some of these takes, like I didn't start watching until the late 20s, and I didn't go all the way back. It was like the late 20s, like early 30s. I really started to watch the early 30s. But then I went back and I was like, you know what? I don't want to go all back to 1 because I watched the first episode. I was like, maybe not 1. We'll go to 20. And I watched from 20 on. So I seen Ozzy from South Pacific, Game Changers, before I seen Cook Islands Ozzy.
Okay.
So
Cook Islands Ozzy was the best Ozzy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my experience with Ozzy is his worst experience, is his worst games, and then not his, like, I didn't grow up with it. And same thing with like Rupert. Like I'm not a big Rupert fan, but because I seen him in Heroes versus Villains and Blood versus Water,
Rupert's
and then
his first game, Pearl, amazing. He was so fun, and then after that, it's like I'm over this guy now. At this point, like
it's hard for me to take the first taste out of my mouth of these guys and then go back and be like, they were good then, but it's like they did so bad. And so like Ozzy, not so much. Like, but in South Pacific, he's voted out twice.
Yeah.
You know, and in Game Changers, he really didn't do much.
So my Ozzy things. I'm going to go into Ozzy now.
Go ahead.
Ozzy, he's always made jury, like Amanda said, which is impressive for how many times he's played. In Cook Islands, it's the first season they moved to a Final 3. If it's not a Final 3, he undoubtedly wins the game, hands down, probably 10-0 or however many jury members there are, because he wins the challenge. Probably. He was winning every challenge. Takes out Yule and goes to the end with Becky and easily wins the game. Then South Pacific, they already said he would have won that season too had he won the final challenge. So like he could have, and he only lost to Yule by was 1 vote, right? I think it was.
Yes. And to be fair, Yule did have the super idol in Cook Islands that saved him for many rounds.
So like I don't know. Yeah, Ozzy's never won, but like he kind of like was very close to winning twice.
Multiple times, yeah.
To me, I really hate. I don't like South Pacific though.
He's returned for Survivor 4 times, so he's been a viable player and asset for the Survivor franchise for a long time. He's a Tyson, you know, the same situation.
I'm not a big Tyson fan either.
I know.
So Tyson was one I did not like at first, and then Heroes vs. Villains. It was probably one of, if not the worst move I've ever. I know a lot of people will say Eric's move, but like Tyson's move to get himself voted, like. It was horrible. That whole thing was horrible, and in Heroes vs. Villains. So I don't know. But then he came back again and finally, which I don't even know how he came back again after that, because he was not that good in Token Jeans. He was terrible in Heroes vs. Villains. And then they're like, you know what? Come back for a 3rd time anyways.
He's funny. Yeah. That's what it is. I liked him because he was funny. He was a personality for them. And you sometimes, those characters come back. Look at Debbie. Debbie's a personality. That's the only reson why she's returned. There's no other reason for it.
Tyson was very lucky. Look, I'm not big high. I hate mixed casts. I'm not a big fan of fan versus favorites. I'm not a big fan of the Blood versus Water, where half of them are attorneys, half of them aren't. Look, we got lucky that Hayden was a part of the rookie cast who kind of knew how to play a game similar to Survivor. And then Sierra came of it, but like she gets overhyped. Like, she goes to that rock draw because Hayden convinces her at Tribal. She didn't decide, you know what, I'm going to rocks. No, Hayden was like, hello, listen, then telling you you're 4th. And he finally convinced her to go to rocks. And her voting out her mother really isn't that big of a move because she was going home regardless.
Yeah, so, that's one of the things about her. Like, I've never understood that. I mean, she was literally going, she could have not voted her and it wouldn't have changed anything.
That's what they wanted to happen when they made the season.
Yeah.
They were going for someone's going to be voting out their loved one. And when it finally was brought to light and happened, they made a way bigger deal of it than what it was because that's what they wanted the whole
Can you
time.
believe this happened? Like, I mean, kind of.
I think Edge of Distinction is the first and only season where a returning player has not made Final Tribal Council in the mixed season.
Oh wow, yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's
so that's why I don't like mixed seasons, because returning players have such an advantage over these people. Like, especially if you have 4 or 5 duds on the cast, and it's just like you're gonna keep the duds around, like, because they know what they're doing, and so you get these duds sticking around, and the people who are competent, they're like, we gotta get rid of them because they're competent, and then they just get rid of them.
And I think
the first
biggest advantage.
Go ahead. The first fans versus favorites cast was not impressive. I mean, pre-merge I love that season. It's literally in my top 5, but the cast in pre-merge was not fantastic. You know, if you have fans versus favorites, you have to pick those stellar fans to be able to compete with the return, and they did not do that the first or second time around, in my opinion. I think they dumbed down the returners instead of hyping up the fans in the second season coming around. For sure.
I think the bit, like, not only the fact that they've played, like, you know, strategically and everything, but I think the biggest advantage is just they already know what to expect in the island phase of itself. Like, being there, you know, it's the struggle. It's not as big of a struggle to them. They're like, this is it. We're doing this. You know what I mean? If you're willing to come back, like, obviously, you know, like, your mind is ready for it. But, like, as a fan, you can think about it all you want, but, like, once you get there, it's gonna just, you know, be a completely overwhelming experience. Whereas the other people, it's like, oh, we're doing it. This is what we're doing. We're playing Survivor. Like, they can just focus on the game.
Especially when they're staying on Fiji, so like they kind of know this location. Like, they can kind of figure out certain spots and like, oh, these are where the coconuts are. These are where you gotta go find. Like, but the new people are trying to figure these things out. They can just be like, oh, these trees have the coconuts. We can go find them. We just gotta look for these trees.
They have that on Survivor before of the returners being like, we have an advantage because we know where the food is and we know how long this lasts and how long it takes and your toll on your body and, you know, so on and so forth. And that is an advantage, in my opinion.
And they can just mentally, like, focus on the game, whereas the other people are mentally, like, they want to focus on the game, but at the same time they're like, wow, this really sucks. Oh, this cold rain, I am miserable. And the other people are just like, well, this is what it is. Like,
so they have such an advantage, like you said, just not on the game itself, but like the survival aspect. They know how to make a fire. They've done it so many times, especially if it's your 3rd, 4th time playing.
Building
and you're
a
out there.
I mean, they're
building a shelter. They can just like, oh, these work really good. These keep you dry the best. And it's just like things like that they don't show on the show, but it's such a huge advantage. And they kind of do some of the similar challenges. So like they've done some of these challenges already. So like they go into these team challenges like, oh, I did something like this. This works really well. Let's do it like this. Like things like we don't get to see those sort of things, but those conversations are happening. We just don't get to see it.
They don't want you to see that because they don't want you to realize how big of an advantage they actually have.
Oh yeah, they don't want to put production too much into it either. They don't like putting production. I mean, this is really, think about it. 41 was the first time we saw camera people in the shot when they first did it. You know, during 41 when they showed the cameras and how everything worked. That was the first time they'd done that in how many seasons? It was like taboo to have cameras in the shot for a long time.
So like I hate mixed seasons. To me, most of the time they're pretty average to bad. Blood versus Water I really enjoy. The fans versus favorites is good. Second one awful. You know, we got lucky with what was the one with Scoopin? I can't think of the name of it.
Oh, Philippines.
Yeah, Philippines was really good. We got lucky with that season, even though Scoopin made it to the end and he's a terrible person. But yeah, it's just mixed seasons doesn't work for Big Brother or Survivor. I just don't think it works.
I agree. Well. I mean, I definitely prefer either, you know, newbies or returnees. I think it's definitely better.
Full cast of each, yeah.
And it's different with orgs because everybody's kind of played an org.
Right.
So
it's not even close.
It's not even the same thing. So like just because I played this game already before, really, it's not that big of an advantage.
We bring two pre-mergers back every season in Broski, and what was it last season? The first time two of them made it to the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's
so.
Orgs are like,
I could be wrong.
I don't know. It's completely, not only in orgs do they have like they've played orgs, they know like the concept of orgs, but also people like everyone knows each other in orgs as well. Like, oh, we're returning. Oh, they know each other. Oh, well, yeah, I know them too. Like we all know them. Like MMP knows everybody.
Right.
So,
it's not that big of a deal. It's only a big deal if you're on a cast full of people who've never played before.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your top 5 favorite seasons of Survivor?
Top 5 favorite seasons. Well, it's gonna get interesting here, but we're gonna go Winners at War, which I don't think is too crazy. I think most people like that one. Now's where it gets wild. We're gonna go with Survivor All Stars, which I know almost everybody does not like, but I loved it, so it's there for me. It is what it is. Heroes vs. Villains, Micronesia, and then Cambodia. That'd be my top 5.
So All Stars.
Yeah, right. The other 4 are like most people have them pretty high, and then there's All Stars, which nobody really has high. I don't know. I think there's a few factors to it. I feel like first, it's the first returning season, which I think is pretty cool. We finally get to because I'm a big, even like in TV shows, I'm a big like character development type person. I love character development. So like our first time of getting returnees, like I know all these people, I know what I'm looking for. Like I have people I'm rooting for, which brings me to my next point. I love Boston Rob, I love Amber, and I love Jenna Lewis. So them being the final 3 was like, well, this is just awesome. I'm loving this. Like I couldn't ask for more. I went into the season like, this is who I'd want my final 3 to be. Like, oh, here we are. This is great. Like, I don't know. I loved, I mean, a lot of people might not, but like the Boston Rob Amber showman's thing that they're still together. I love all that. I don't know. I just love it. I think it's all really cool. Like,
I watched their wedding live on CBS when I was like 13 and I was living for it. So I don't love Boston Rob as much as a player or Amber, but I do remember the hype of it, of watching it live, and like the hype of the relationship, and like CBS like took it to a whole other level that I don't think they've ever done with anyone else except for maybe Rachel and Brendan. But I know the hype that you're talking about, and I do remember that, and it was something cool to see and like be a part of, especially like the first returning season. Like they did hype it up quite a bit.
Yeah, and I don't know. I liked all that. I thought it was really cool, and there was really good gameplay within it too. I mean, Boston Rob obviously played people and they got really upset, but like, I don't know. I'm the type of person that I love that type of stuff. I love watching it. I think it's entertaining. So it was cool to me. I don't care that they were upset. Like, that's fine. He outplayed y'all. It is what it is. I don't know. I loved all of it. Like, and like the Colby, Cheyenne, however you pronounce her name. I loved their little scuffle they had where they were like talking crap to each other, and then she like ended up winning an immunity later in the season, got super hyped. I don't know. There was just like a lot of parts to it that I really enjoyed in that season. So I honestly don't see why so many people have it so low. Like I know everybody else has it like not even in their top 20, and I'm like, why? It's good.
This is I'm not okay. So I really wish we got a shot of the whole cast coming together and seeing everybody for the first time. That would have added to it. The epicness of it would have been better that way, I think. But they kind of knew who was all playing beforehand. But for our audience, we didn't know. So seeing them all together the first time would have been awesome. We didn't get to see them together until the challenge that was like halfway through the first episode.
Yeah.
I think Boston Rob should have won. I'm not the biggest Boston Rob fan, but I'm not naive to know how important he is for the brand of Survivor. I know he's huge for the brand of Survivor. So
I don't know. I mean, I agree he should have won, but I think a lot of people take that as like, oh, Amber played bad. But like I don't see it that way. I thought she played a very solid game. Like, yeah, I think Boston Rob played better. But like I don't think that Amber played poorly by any means. Like, I don't think it was just like, oh, straight bitter, we're voting Amber. Like, I think she played well. I mean, she was liked, and she was playing the game herself. Just, I mean, Rob was obviously a little bit more forefront with it, but
Right.
which, I mean, I personally, I would have voted Rob, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm into that style of play, but
yeah, I personally, I was like, I'm a big Rob C fan, so I was very upset that he got out so early. And he kind of got put in a bad spot. Like, his tribe was a bad tribe for him.
Yeah.
Rupert made a fool of himself that season, which also did not help. I feel like I like to have Rupert on Pearl Islands do so well and then him come right back for All Stars, and that was like a huge hype. I mean, you remember how big Rupert was back then. Like, it was huge for Rupert to play, back to back. We got another taste of Rupert right away. And for him to flop so hard in that season, and he still made it far, but he just didn't play as well as he did in Pearl Islands. And I feel like that's a reason for me, for sure, why it's a little bit lower, just because I feel like the players that they brought back had way more potential than what they showed. And they were really bitter jury. I mean, really angry, bitter jury, which I love watching. Don't get me wrong. That's great entertainment for me. But I bet in the moment, I think it cost Boston Rob the win. And a lot of people people who can't hold a jury. So
it irritates me as a returning player season. You should never be bitter.
I mean,
you should know the game.
I fully agree, but you see it in orgs. There's people that have played 50 games and they're still bitter jury members. Like, I don't know what it is, but people just can't turn that bitterness.
Yeah, off. I don't get it. I'm not a bitter person. Like, look, I'll be pissed at you, and I will say my piece to you, and we'll have it out. If you did me dirty, whatever, we can have a conversation afterward, or I might call you out during tribal. But it won't affect my vote none. I won't go in there like, I'm not voting for this person because he blindsided me or he's backstabbed me.
I just don't get it. Like, the game you're signing up for. We're all signing up for this game where literally 90% of the cast is getting voted out. So only one person wins. So all of us are losing, basically. We know that going in. And yet I'm going to be so bitter that you voted me out. Like, no, good job. You got it.
Well, I think too that partakes to us being a little bit more old school players. Because when we played back in the day, a couple of years ago, the org community was way different than what it is now. Everyone gets their feelings hurt now because everyone is so close. It's too much. And now, instead, back in the day, we were fine with voting our friends out because it was a game, and that's part of playing the game, is voting your friends out. If you're not aligned with your friends, you're not aligned with your friends. I voted Frank out, and Big Brother that we played together, we're best friends. It's just, it happens. Matt W, shout out to you. I blindsided him at Final 5. Like, it happened. He's still my friend today. You just got to put it, you got to separate it.
Right. And like, if you can't handle like the fact that you're going into like playing this game of Survivor, then don't play. Like,
don't play. Right.
I just don't get it.
To me, there's no rules of Survivor. So like, if you deem it okay to play however you want to play, and your family's okay with however you want to play it, then that's all that should matter. I should not be a judge to you or anybody. Like, that's not the way you choose to run your life. Look, if my wife says you can swear on everything but me and the children, I'm swearing on everything but my wife and my children. I swear on my house, my grandma. I don't care. I'll do it all as long as my wife and my kids are okay with it. I'll play that way because that's all the ones that matter.
Yeah.
So
I mean, honestly, and it's a game. But
it's a game, right? For $1 million.
In Monopoly, I'm not going to get mad for you knocking my piece off the sorry board. You know what I mean? Like, so of course I'm not going to hold it personal to you for voting me out of a fake dumb Survivor game.
Right. It's like everyone just expects that they're supposed to be in the final try. They're supposed to win the game. Like, no, that's not how it works. Like, most of us are going to lose this game. Like,
so like Lex was super bitter towards Rob. Like, we were friends, but he did the same thing to Ethan a few rounds prior, who they were friends going into that, closer friends than him and Rob.
Everyone's so hypocritical. Like, everyone is so hypocritical in Survivor. It's mind blowing to me. I never judge anybody. Like, look, if you're okay with looking in the mirror and looking at your family, and your family's okay with what you play, then play however you want to play. Like, the worst part is, like, people get bitter over, like, for no reason. Like
For
there's
no
literally
reason.
sometimes there's literally no reason to be bitter at all, and then there's
Jealousy. I said it.
bitter
Jealousy.
anyways.
Yeah. So it's just ridiculous. It's with orgs, with the shows, both like plural, like any kind of competition shows, there's bitterness. It's just you see it, and it's just like, what you think you were gonna go do?
Yeah,
Like, I don't understand what you thought you were gonna
You gotta
play.
understand what you're signing up for.
and that like, oh, I can vote you out. I can vote anybody out. I can do this or that. Oh, I can blindside my ally. I still expect them to vote for me to win. But if you do it to me, oh no, that's the end of the world. You are the worst. I can't. Like, what? What do you mean? Like, you're doing the same thing. I just happen to do it better. Like you know.
Don't get me wrong. I've been pissed after getting voted out, and I need like a day or two. But like
That's
after a day or two,
normal.
I'm cool.
That's
Yeah.
normal. That's normal. I
normal.
tell everybody, just give it time. Just give it time. Give it a day or two. Get your feelings out. Get your ducks in a row, and understand what lesson you learned from the game, why you didn't win, what you could have done differently. There's nothing else you can do after that, and then you sign up for another one to try better. That's the cycle of it.
Usually, you're not getting voted out for no reason. Like,
Yeah.
They're not just like, oh, this person, I just don't like them on a personal level, so they gotta go. Like, no, that does not cross my mind. Like,
No.
All I'm thinking, like, oh, this is how my best course of action towards winning. Okay, this person has to go. Like,
or
this person's a threat to win the game. We gotta get rid of them.
Yeah.
You got to get rid of the threats to your own game. That's part of Survivor. That is Survivor. You have to get people out that's going to threaten your game or hurt your game.
Right.
I just wish, I don't know. I don't know why people just can't understand that. It's like,
Like I said, I think people were more OG players. And back then, I feel like when I first started playing, people weren't bitter like they were. They understood it's a game and it was a good move. Hats off to you. Nowadays, it's like you're my best friend. You're not aligned with me all the way to the final two. That's literally what it is nowadays. It's terrible.
And then it gets even worse because like there's so many friendships now involved in especially orgs. Like there's so many friendships. So like people are gonna have to vote out their friends. Like you can't. Yeah. It's a final 3. It's not a final 10. Like you can't just bring everybody to the end.
No.
Like, you gotta vote people out.
Especially when you're on a tribe of 6, 5, 4. Like you don't have a lot of times you don't have a choice in that moment. Yeah. You know, and I mean, think about how many group chats you're a part of. You know, and I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, you know, how many group chats I'm a part of. And I'm like, well, this person's a part of just as many with these people that overlap with these people that overlap with these people. It's unavoidable. Like you said earlier, everyone knows everybody.
Yeah. And like the person you're working with, they, you know, maybe they don't want this person in the game. Okay. Then you know what? If I'm going to have my way on one vote, like, now you want, okay, this person can go. That's fine. Like, it's better for both of our games to keep progressing. Like, I don't know. People just.
That's why I love these duo seasons popping up, because you get these people who sign up as friends together. Oh, we're going to be great together. We're going to work together perfectly. And then they get in the game and then they're like, oh, I don't want to vote this person out. And then your partner's like, well, we have to vote this person out. Yeah. And then now you have to work together and figure it out. It puts a whole new spin on it.
Oh, I like this half of that duo. Well, I don't like either half of that duo.
Okay, to be fair, I was talking about swearing on my family for the real Survivor, not orgs. So just to point that out.
And I think there's definitely a different line of things too.
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know. I think in orgs, for orgs, I wouldn't swear on anything. I just think, I don't know. It's $100 game. Like there's 100 orgs you can play. Like there's just no reason to really do that.
Yeah.
But like on the show, I mean, it's $1 million. Like that's $1 million. It's like people on the show, they're mad. Like I'm doing anything to win on the show. What do you mean? Like, oh, you gotta go.
Look, it's life changing. Like Erica is doing ET for Canada now. Like she won now. She did all those exit interviews for them. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
it's literally life changing.
It's literally life changing. Not just $1 million. It opens so many avenues to like progress your life and your family's life. Like if my family's okay with the way I played, then I'm okay with the way I played.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the way I see Survivor.
I feel like you would be able to own your game at the end. You know what I'm saying?
I would.
Yeah.
But that's why one of my favorite moments is when Trish is looking Tony in the eye and Kagia. I was like, was it worth it for $1 million, Tony? And he looks her in the eye and goes, it was. And it's just like yes.
Yeah, it
It's
was.
worth it.
It's just like you want that. You want that. Just like yes. Thank you. So do you watch Big Brother at all? Or is it too long?
I have never watched any Big Brother.
That's
I don't
fair.
know why. I just have not. To me, it just doesn't seem. I don't know. From what I've heard, it sounds like it's just like a worse version of Survivor, and it's just like, well, I'm a big Survivor person, so like, I'm just going into this thinking, oh, it's gonna be worse. Why? I'm not even gonna bother. Like, I don't know.
Do you like Gabon?
Gabon?
Yeah.
It was okay.
Do you like the drama of Gabon?
Somewhat, yeah. There's definitely parts of it that are good.
It's very Big Brother-esque. That's why I'm leading into it. It's like Big Brother is more of the drama. So if you like the TV drama, not as heightened as like Bad Girls Club or like, you know,
it's the closest. Like it's the closest CBS will get to MTV. That's the closest. This is a show that'll get closest.
It's kind of like the Real World. I mean, it's got like the Real World feel to it a little bit too. It's like the what I like about Big Brother that I don't get from Survivor is I can watch as much content as I want. I can get on the live feeds and be able to watch people talk and game and conversate as much as my heart desires. And I feel like that's what makes it appealing in a sense, because you can watch people's game closely, and there is game in Big Brother just like there is Survivor. So when you're able to watch it and really follow it and pay attention, and when you don't get that with Survivor, if Survivor had a 24-hour feed, could you fucking imagine? We would all be watching. Oh yeah, we would all be watching, being able to tune into this and this. But with Big Brother, it's like 24-hour. They don't get any contact, obviously, just like Survivor, for the outside world, and it's longer. So I don't know. I feel like I get my bang for my buck with Big Brother more so than Survivor. Now I love Survivor more, but
that makes sense. I mean, yeah, like Survivor. I mean, it is tough. Not as much now, but like before, we were getting 40 minutes out of like a 3-day span. It's like we're missing so much. I feel like.
Yeah,
it's not even an hour; it's 40 minutes.
But yeah, it is with commercials.
And then the challenge is taking up 20 minutes of it, and then Tribal's probably taking up 10 minutes of it.
So like we're only getting, we're getting 10 minutes of conversation basically.
Exactly.
Like, so.
Oh yeah.
I think it's crazy Survivor has not gone to 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Me too.
I think it's crazy they can easily do it.
If I remember correctly, Survivor still rules Wednesday nights, if I remember correctly, for CBS. I'm pretty sure it's still the #1 show on Wednesday nights. So why not extend another half an hour? You already got the ratings. You already got the ratings.
There's got to be enough content for them to be able to do that no problem. And not be boring. Like,
right.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I think Big Brother does different, like, so I think from 2 to about 18, we get like good to great. Like, there's like a few bad seasons into there, but like 19, 21, 22 were really bad. 20 was really good. 23 was all right. 20 was really good though, but those 4 stretch seasons where 3 of them were really awful. It was really bad. And so you only get 1 season a year. You're like, oh, just dreading. Like 3 seasons out of the last 4 have been awful, and then you get 23 was okay. So it's just like I think
23 had a very Survivor 41 feel to it.
Yeah. So it's a commitment. Big Brother is easy to binge watch for me, the older seasons, but like I don't know, I started watching Big Brother like on 17, so and then I went back and watched them all. But it's a different game, different feel. I personally like Big Brother, but I feel like the production gets more in the way of Big Brother than Survivor. Production gets in the way of Survivor. With the twists are way worse than Big Brother.
If you ever want to give it a chance, we'll give you a season to start on. That's like don't start at season 2. Like that's not. It's just like Survivor. You're not going to start. If someone's wanting to watch Survivor, you're not going to start them on Borneo. You know what I'm saying? It's the same way with Big Brother. If you're ever interested in watching a season, get recommendations on what season to start with, because there are phenomenal gameplay seasons of Big Brother that if you like strategy, you will enjoy, type of thing.
That's a good
but it is long. It is long.
Because like Borneo at the time, I'm sure it was great, but like if you were to try and get into Survivor now with that, it would not hook you. I feel like
Yeah.
That's what we did with Tyler. When Tyler started watching, Ed was giving him suggestions on certain, seasons to watch, and I think we started him with
6, 7, one of those, I think.
Yes, 6. But yeah. Ed started him with Amazon. That wouldn't have been my first pick, but started him with Amazon, and then he watched Pearl Island. Now he's watching China. I start people with China when I first recommend. I think China is the perfect starting season.
Amazon's solid though. Rob C is just so good.
So good.
He is so good. Do you watch
And
Rob
like
too?
That was probably the worst part of All Stars was Rob C getting out so early and then never coming back because Rob C he was one of those game changer type players in the early seasons where it was like, wow, this guy is really like playing the game in a different way.
Yeah.
Do you think he's allowed to come back since rap is a thing?
I don't know. He's talked about coming back, but he said he's like, honestly, I just don't think he'll be able to do well.
Yeah.
That's his biggest concern. Is like he's gonna go there, like he's gonna know everybody, and everybody's like, look, we can't. Like he knows everybody. Like we can't just let him stay in the game. He has a relationship with everybody because he interviews all of them.
He's probably one of those people that they would like not vote out first, but like once it gets to like around merge time, they'd probably be like, all right, now it's time to like go ahead and cut this out of the picture.
Yeah, I don't think he has a chance to win.
Yeah.
So I don't think he'll ever come back. Which I don't blame him. Like I think his time was to come back was maybe fans versus favorites, but
I think he missed the window. Like it's been so long now because like I mean he last played All-Star. I mean that's what almost 20 years. Like it's so long ago at this point.
If he was gonna play on a cast, it had to be a cast like Boston Rob, Parvati, like these mega names,
right?
For him to even consider it, because like in those situations he might be able to play the game, but he's out there with like a Haley and Game Changers. They're not gonna let him get far.
No. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's out there with Lydia from 42. Like she's not gonna let him get far.
Yeah.
So it's just like he has to be out there with like the names of names for him to play.
It'd have to be like a legend, like you said. It'd have to be like a Legends type season. But like, would they even put him on there when it's been? I don't know. It's just like,
yeah.
I almost feel like they would almost need their own a new theme almost to fit a Rob in or something, or like strategist versus physical or something like that. You know what I mean? Where they could pull him for that. They would almost have to I don't want to say specifically make a season for him, but he's such a special niche of a player. He kind of needs a special theme. You know what I mean? Like with Bronze versus Beauty versus Brain. Obviously Rob would fit in as a Brain there if they were to do a returning cast based off of something like that.
That would make sense.
Yeah,
for sure.
So how did you get into orgs? We've kind of briefly discussed orgs a little bit, but get a few questions about.
I mean, for me, I had no idea they even existed. I don't even know how Tony ended up seeing one somehow on Twitter, and he played, and then it was like season 2 of some Twitter game, and I played season 3, and it was fine. Like it didn't really do it for me because Twitter games are just absolute garbage. But like it was fine enough to where I was like, okay, my interest is piqued. And then like I went over to Facebook and played Broski. That was my first Facebook game, and I was like, all right, I'm really into this. Like this is a lot of fun.
Right.
Yeah, I mean I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how he found out about them. I'd have to ask him, but I don't know. As soon as I played that one, I was like, okay, this is, I love the strategy side. I mean, I'm always like strategizing with people. I love the challenge side. So like, it just fulfills things. Like, I don't know. It's just fun.
Yeah. I love the strategy of it as well and trying to figure out what the next move should be. And it's just like, it's the closest we're going to get to actually without playing pretty much. Yeah. Like, unless you got to one of the live Survivor games, but they're all like a couple hour drive for me. So,
and I'm like 100% sure that I would never get cast for Survivor. So like it's as close as I'm gonna get to the real thing as playing these orgs. Because
have you ever tried out?
No, I haven't. But like, first of all, maybe my chances are even less now because now it's down to like they used to have like a ton of like white male my age type players. But now it's like, oh, we bring like 2 of those maybe on the season. And then like, not only that, I do not have a big personality at all. So like, if I went into the casting meeting, they'd be like, oh, this person's super boring. Done. Like, okay, later. So it just would not work out for me.
If I could swim, I would I feel like, but I would have to learn how to swim well. Not even just learn how to swim, but learn how to swim well. And then the cold man would do it for me. I don't know if I could do the freezing cold at night.
See, I think I would do absolutely fine on the show, honestly. I don't know. Like, none of that really would worry me too much. But I just don't think I'd ever get cast. So like, it just doesn't even matter.
I've applied one time. I'm gonna try to apply again, I think.
I always tell myself I'm going to, and then I just don't. I just don't end up doing it. I don't even know what what I'd go about doing for it. It
was really embarrassing watching yourself trying to figure out what to do. It's like cringe.
Right, exactly. But you have to like try and do something cringy because otherwise they're just be like, oh, this is boring.
Yeah, you gotta get noticeable.
Mm-hmm. Right, you gotta stand out somehow. So it's like you gotta come up with silly things that they'll find interesting. But like, I just don't know. I can't do it. I don't know what.
Who do you think out of the org community would get cast for like a Survivor game?
Who out of the org community? That is a good question.
I have mine, but I want to wait till you say yours first.
You have yours. Oh snap!
Oh yeah. 100% would be cast just off personality alone, for sure.
That is such a tough question. I don't know.
I feel like a Cole would be really good for Survivor.
Yeah. He would definitely. I think he could have a good chance of making that happen.
Yeah, he has a really good personality. He's a fit guy. He do really well in the challenges. Likable. So
yeah, no,
that's somebody I think would be a person that could probably catch an eye if you really wanted to.
Yeah, I think so. That's a good one.
2 words. King Carl. And you're telling me Carl is not going to get cast on Survivor? You're out of your mind. Because actually he has applied many, many times. But I can't believe he hasn't been cast. Like, he's perfect in front of the camera.
I don't know. See,
I love to see Carl on Survivor.
I could see them being like thinking that is like not even a real thing that he's doing, but like he's legitimately serious about it. But like if I was them, I'd be like, is this a joke? Like, what is
perfect? This is perfect casting. So much entertainment. Carl would be so good. Look, listen, I don't care. I love you, Tony, but him. When he got voted out of Broski and Fans versus Favorites, and he was just yelling at Tony in the Zoom, and he was like, "Fuck you, bitches!" Blah, blah, blah. That shit was so funny. I go back and watch that tribal all the time.
Can you imagine though? Like he gets cast on the island. I could just see him actually saying like, "All hail King Carl!"
Of course he would. Why would he? He absolutely would, as he should. I love it.
Other casters would just be looking at him like.
He'd probably wear a button-up shirt so he can have his chest shown a little bit and like lean on a rock.
Have you seen his profile picture? Like his set, like Carl's amazing. He was my number 1 ally.
He had a crown in it and everything. Yeah. Everybody would see the cast photo and be like, this guy's wearing a crown in his cast photo.
Are you telling me that America would not love watching Carl on television? You're out of your mind if you're telling me that.
I feel like half the people will be like, this is a male Debbie.
A male yes, literally, but better. You hear that, Carl? You're better than a male Debbie.
Oh gosh,
Carl, I'm telling you, he'd be such good Survivor.
I met Carl. I think I've had one conversation with him when I was at your house. That was it.
Oh wait, was I playing Broski whenever you were at my house?
I think so.
I was. I don't remember that. Was that season 7? I don't remember that for some reason. I thought I met you before season 7. Maybe not.
Nope, it was right around then. I remember because you were on a phone call with them when I came over to do the live podcast.
Well, last summer, me, Lane, Carl, Ryan, Cutliff, and Devin would all call each other like every day, just chilling. whatever, hang out or whatever. We would do like all summer last summer after the game, even after the game ended. So I talked to Carl many, many times.
Well, you should have told me that going into Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, sorry. You didn't have a chance. Going into orgs, I loved watching Magic Kingdom because Michael sent the confessionals to the VL chat. So we were able to watch everyone's confessionals and like see their game and like who had what advantages and everything. So it was so cool as a viewer to be able to see all that and be able to like see what was going on. And it was fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie. That's probably one of my favorite orgs I followed was that, and Broski Fans versus Favorites was my two favorite ones.
I'm glad my worst game was one of your favorite games to
follow.
follow.
So you did a great job hosting that season.
So what was your favorite game you played then?
Favorite game that I've my personal game or like the org itself?
Like just the org itself.
I mean,
Give us both. Give us both.
It's so interesting. Like it's so
no
interesting.
Pressure.
I know it's so interesting though. Like because I mean every org offers like their own little different things, and then like the cast is a huge factor in all of that. Like if it's gonna be a lot of fun or not a lot of fun. Like I can say my least favorite easily was SOG. That I know. Favorite. I honestly don't have like a favorite. Like they're like really close. Like for me, the only difference is like if it stands out as bad, which is what SOG did.
Yeah.
But the rest they're just like, it's just, I don't know, kind of somewhat similar. But like, as far as like my favorite game, even like, I don't know. And like people will ask me like, oh, what win did you like better between, your Broski and your anime? And it's like, they were completely different like spectrums of games. Like Broski, I played under the radar at the beginning of the game, like downplayed my challenge abilities because nobody knew me. So I was like, oh, I suck at everything. Like, oh man, this is so tough. I don't know what I'm doing. And like, I was able to just be like a saint in the game. Like, I didn't do any backstabbing, like went to the end with my day one ally. Like, oh, I win. Perfect. It was like just smooth sailing throughout the game. But then in my other games, like,
rounded game.
Yeah. And then in animation, it's like, oh, I'm villain of the season. Everybody hates me. I made half the jury cry. Like I set the challenge record. Like it was just completely different. Like completely different. So I don't know. Both experiences cool in a way, but I don't know like which one would even be my favorite. And it's funny because like I think my two best games are the two games that I lost, got second place, and lost those games. So I don't know. Like it's very interesting.
Yeah. So you want to hear something gross? My last game I've ever played was SOG.
Yeah, that's. I mean, literally the fact that I played 50 days just to get sixth place is just like mind blowing to me. Like,
I think I played around the same amount of days you did for sixth place or whatever it was I was in.
So slow pace. Like, I can't do this. Like, I think we were like 2 weeks into the game and there was 2 boots so far. And I'm like, we haven't even been, I think we went to 1 tribal in the first 3 weeks. And I'm like, I was telling people, like, I don't know what there is to talk about anymore because we can't even talk strategy because we're not even playing Survivor at this point. And I feel like I know everything about you at this point because we've been playing 3 weeks. So it's like, I don't know.
Well, I went to a lot of tribals in SOG. So I got swapped into 3 tribes of 5 at 15. And I went to 3 straight no, we went to 2 straight tribals and the one, and I had to play my ass off. The first one, like a bunch of advantages got played the first round. I had none. So I had to dodge that bullet. And then the next round, we blindsided somebody with 7 advantages. And a 4-person tribe. It's just like insane. Me and Jay did that. Ooh, that's one of my favorite. Like, even though like I'm not a big, like the game was kind of ass, but like just to like pull something like that off is just
that was another part I didn't like too. Is there was too many advantages. Like the merge tribal, there was 7 advantages played in the one tribal. Like I played an idol to negate 1 vote that would have sent me home because of the other billion other advantages that got played. It was just like
games.
Yeah. So it's just it was a big mess for my last experience, and that was the last game I played. That was over a year ago.
Well, when are you playing again?
What season was that again?
I don't know.
That was their season 20, right?
20. Season 20 that Frank played?
Mm-hmm.
Played that after Super Duper All Stars?
Yeah, well, because I was voted out pretty early in that game.
It was like the same time, but he was out pretty early in Super Duper.
Yeah,
that's
honestly,
right.
I should, in retrospect, I should have did Tony's interview after All Stars.
Probably would have helped.
I went in that game.
Over 150 views on that.
Yeah, but I had like so many eyes on me. I had so many enemies going into that game. It was just too much, and that was my own fault. So after All Stars would have been better, but what can you do? You live and you learn. I played as hard as I could.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean you always play hard, so that's why I asked you, when are you playing again?
We'll see. I'll let you know.
He says this all the time. I'm just gonna tell you, he says this all the time, and he lets me down every time. So just don't get your hopes up.
You go into every cast hoping to see Frank.
Yes, every cast. I was praying this animation cast. Like, please let Frank be on the cast. Please let Frank. The whole cast goes by, no Frank. Sick of you.
Maybe I'm just waiting for like a call back from somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, returning
hosts.
Season 8 years ago.
I mean, you're gonna get invited back to SD at some point. So
yeah. No,
you'll get invited back to
I don't know. It's like, look, orgs are a lot of fun, but they're a lot of time consuming things.
So time consuming.
So time consuming. So like, it got to a point where I was like, I just taking too much time, and like you don't realize how much time it takes up until you're not doing it at all. You're like, man, I have so much free time.
You're literally just like always on your phone, and then you have, I can't do anything tonight because I have a challenge in tribal. Great. Like, I don't know. Yeah, no, I totally feel that, especially since like it's changed a lot. I feel like since my first like couple games, I mean, there was like no calls at all. Season 2 of Broski, I did not do any calls. And then SOG, I didn't do any calls, like maybe one. And then after that, it's like, hey, you want to call? You want to call? You want to call? Oh, you want to call? Okay, I'm on calls just all day. Great. Like this is exactly what I want to do with my day. Is just
like I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I feel like I had like a hand in all that because like I did that in Broski 3.
Frank was one of the first people to start video calls,
especially in Broski, because you can screenshot everything. So I did no strategy talk at all. Like at the time, you could. I did no strategy talk with people that I wasn't super tight with through text. I was like, let's talk. We'll talk. We did strategy there, because if I'm going to tell you something, like what's keeping it from screenshot and sending it to somebody?
Oh, no. Like, yeah. I mean, that makes perfect sense. I mean, like, and you don't even know, like, I mean, I use that in All Stars against Brandon. I mean, he said, he was like, oh, let's make Ashley like the decoy. And I screenshot, boom. Hey, let's get Brandon out. He's using you as a decoy. This is cool.
Right.
Like, you can abuse it so badly.
Yeah. So it's like I did that, and I think only one person picked it up on Broski, and I did it. You've seen it a lot. I did it a lot in Super Duper.
Yeah.
And it's just a way. It's a way you can show your personality that you can't through text.
Oh no, it definitely helps. Like I mean, like I said, I spend way too much time on the calls because I know like it's crucial to the game. Like it makes people really like buy in and everything, but like it's also draining to just.
It is draining. Like, and it's like you seen me talk to like Cole, for example. We weren't working together, but I spent like an hour and a half, like, and I think only 20-30 minutes of it was strategy talk. It was just to like get to know him, to let his guard down, and like, because like it's hard to say, it's hard to get the text after someone just blindsides you. Say, hey, how's it going? Nice move, and it's just like you really don't know where to go from there.
Yeah.
Like it's just a thing that like I can't take full credit for it, but like I was definitely early on the call thing, and I did that for I think 3 different orgs. I did one in Discord too. I don't think you've ever played a Discord org, right?
No.
So I played in an all-star game where I was the only winner in the game. That was the only game I won. It was an all-star season, and I called everybody, and I made it way farther than I should have. I almost won, but it's just like, things like that. It's just like you gotta put a lot of work into it. A lot of time, I enjoy it. It's just like I have 2 kids at home. It's like not something I could just pick up and do all the time anymore.
Right.
They take up a lot of time.
I do think that doing more calls also makes people more bitter.
True.
That's true. You get closer to people. It's just
Yep.
natural. I will say that I agree. I think that video calls at first in orgs didn't exist. I feel like when I first started playing, they didn't take up as much as my time.
Right.
But I will say that I'm a lot closer to people in the community now than I was back then too, because of video calls and meeting people, and then you get to talking to them, and then you talk to them about the game after it's over, and then it follows into this conversation, and then next thing you know, you're talking every day, and then that's your friends, and that's how it goes. I mean, with Frank, like I hate like that I'm in the community and I've been in the community this whole time and Frank's been gone, because I'm like, oh my God, my bestie Frank. And they're like, who's that? You would not be saying that 2 years ago. Okay. You would not be saying who's Frank 2 years ago. And it blows my mind that people don't know who he is,
Look, like I needed a break. I feel like I'll play again. Like I'm not fully retired. I'm never not going to play again. But like I just enjoyed my time.
Oh yeah.
Off.
I mean, that's where I'm at. I mean,
there's nothing wrong with that
anytime soon. Like I got to the point where I was like, all right, this is too draining. I'm not having as much fun. Like it's time to stop playing.
I feel like it's harder for you to step away because you're a host too. So it's like it's. I do you think you do find it harder playing now that you're a host than before?
100%, because you have like there's people that just have like this. It's like a mixed bag. There's some people that like expect, oh, you hosted me, we're gonna work together. But then there's these other people that are like, oh, you saw my game, I'm threatened by you, I don't want you in the game. So like it's like trying to like figure out which one of these is this person. Like, are they wanting to work with me, or are they the other type that's like, oh, I'm scared of this person because they know what I'm gonna do.
I remember during the animation host draft, that host draft, it was Edmo, Kesselin, Jordan, and Michael that did the draft. And I was obviously on the cast for Second Chances, and they almost didn't pick me because they said she has the host tag, but she's only been hosting for 2 seasons. She doesn't have all the other relationships like the other hosts do, and that because Devin was also on the cast with me. She doesn't have as many relationships as Devin does as a host, but she still has the host label, so she's going to be targeted. I'm like, man, what bullshit is that? You know what I mean? But it's true. He's absolutely right. When you have that host label on you, you're a host now, and people will consider you almost a better player because of it, or someone to be threatened of because of it.
And that's the other thing. Like people will just assume like, oh, he has all these allies because he's hosted. How could he not have all the? Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that's true. Like, yeah, have I worked with some people that I've hosted? Sure, but like I've also like taken people out that I've hosted pre-merge, like no problem. Like it doesn't matter. I don't know.
Exactly.
It's all individual level, but people don't really think of it like that. I feel like they assume.
No. So what are some of the things you like about hosting?
Hosting, I don't know. I honestly like hosting a lot more. I think it's so much fun. Like just seeing everything play out, you see the full, because I mean we're in one-on-ones and everything. You see the full like who's doing what. I mean you see it all, and then like just like you know advantages like I know it's coming, but then they're all just like mind blown, like, oh, the blind side, like, because I read the votes, I'm like looking at their reactions, like, kind of as I'm doing it. It's like, it's just great. I don't know. There's so many, and like, you have like the fun of Survivor without the stress of like, oh, do I have to worry about being voted out, or oh, do I have to do all these things to make sure I'm not, on the block today? Like, it's more chill, but like, it's still got all the Survivor aspects to it, so it's a lot of fun.
All right, so. This is definitely a lot harder question for you than it was for Tony, because there was only, I think, 3 seasons when I asked him this. What was your favorite season of Super Duper?
I mean, for me, it's definitely All Stars. I loved All Stars. I thought it was so good. Like, I mean, I think at one point there was like 7 straight tribals where someone got voted out with an advantage in their pocket, like blindsided. Like, it was just insane. Like, the level of play was crazy. Everybody was just like getting blindsided left and right, and I don't know. It was just like, it was really, really good. And obviously, I mean, it was, a lot of my favorite people that were playing as well. So that made it more enjoyable to watch. And I don't know. I really liked it.
So that was season 5, right? And what season are you guys on? 12?
Yep.
So Still holds the test of time.
Yep, still holds it.
Uh,
Second
who
chance was close. Second chance was good, but I would still prefer All Stars. I would say.
who's the best winner?
I mean, for me, it's Kat. I mean, I think she absolutely dominated. Like, first of all, I thought the season was crazy, and she was like the leader of making that happen. I don't know. It was just she played it very smooth, like touchy subjects. She got all these things. Oh, gonna win, trust, blah blah blah, like everything, and it was like still just dominated, made it to the end anyways. And I don't know. I think it's a lot harder to win like a season like that in comparison to a newbie season, because usually there's newbie seasons, whether you like it or not, there's usually a couple players that aren't that good. Like they're early. Boots. You almost make them merge without even like doing anything. And like it's just a lot easier, I feel like, whereas like that type of season, it's from the start. I think the other part of why I really like that season too that I didn't say, there was only one X1 vote the entire season, and it was Final Five Zach's boot. The rest were all like 3-2, 7-4. Like everybody was getting blindsided, and there was so many emotions, like yelling at people like, oh, how could you leave me out of this? Yeah, like it was very entertaining.
Yeah, I was only in it for half the game. But it was definitely. I was fighting an uphill battle for, I want to say, almost the whole game I played.
Right.
But it was definitely, you could feel the emotions. I was very irritated with people too myself. So I completely understand the emotions. But
which
like
for
I
a
said,
player can like be rough, but like as a host, I'm just sitting there loving it. Like, oh yeah, yell at each other, like go at it. It's sweet.
I'm the same way. I love the drama. Go for it.
Yeah.
And so like I experienced it, only half of it. I could tell you that emotions were very high. The intensity was very high throughout the whole game. The first vote on was just all intense.
I mean, even the first vote, I mean, we had Wayne get blindsided. Like it was like a 4. I don't have to look, but it was a split vote all across the board. Like 3 different people got votes. Yeah. Wayne wasn't able to be on the tribal.
No, it was Michaela. Wayne had Michaela on his phone.
Yeah, a 5-3 vote. Wayne couldn't get like his connection to work, so he was on the call with Michaela as he's getting voted out, and she says something like, "What the fuck just happened?" or something. Like during right after the boot happens, and everyone's just sitting there like, like
yeah.
And Wayne, it was a lot. That was the first boot, so it was just like crazy the whole way.
Yeah. Let's say the SWAT tribal, like if Derek didn't play that black vote, that would have been a huge move. That was a huge move by him playing that, because they had no idea that was coming.
And it was gonna work.
It was gonna work. And Terrence said it was a mistake at Final Tribal. I stand by that move. That was the correct move to do, because we would have had OJ on our side coming into that tribe with numbers at that point.
Oh, it completely changes the game.
Completely changes the game. If he doesn't have that black vote, and they think about it, he probably plays his idol there, and Biggs might play his idol there too, because he might get scared, and there might be 2 idols gone. Now we have the numbers too, with OJ having an idol. It would have been huge.
I mean, Zach would have still went home.
Zach would have still went home. It would have been huge, and they had. I really going back at it, I really wish that we tried to pin the vote idea on Vin, but.
I said that afterwards. I don't know why that tribe did not take Vin out. It was so obvious he was just gonna like work with the other tribe, and everyone was just like, "Yeah, it's fine."
Yeah, to me, I wanted just to break up those 3 and then take out Vin. Yeah, I just and OJ didn't understand that. I was like, "Look, I think I can work with these guys, but if I'm with those guys, I'll be 4th, and that doesn't mean no good."
Yeah.
So like,
I'll tell you, Frank. OJ has been killing it this past year in orgs. He's probably the best active player in orgs right now. That man, except for one time, he was like first boot in one game, but other than that, he has consistently made Final 6 in almost every single game he's played.
Yeah, he's been killing it.
He's been killing it. He's gotten 2 wins recently. The Broski win, and then he won Premier, and he's made final tribal how many times?
Well, I mean, season 3 of Super Duper was his first game, and I mean, he got MVP in that game. Like, he was
if he doesn't make it to the final tribal, he at least wins MVP in every game he plays. It's crazy.
No, OJ is a very smart guy. You could tell he's very smart when you talk to him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've had many phone conversations with OJ.
I have nothing but nice things to say. I disagree with what he wanted to do there.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, I don't have anything bad to say about him. But like, you know, it is what it is. So you said Cat is your favorite winner. Who's your favorite non-winner? This is a lot bigger, broader category. I know you have a list, so you can go back and look at it.
I'm about to do that. Favorite or like best?
Who do you think is? Give us both. Give us your favorite non-winner and then the best non-winner.
Okay. I mean, some of my favorite non-winners are Allie, Storm, and Brandon. Mostly, like, Allie is just really funny in her confessionals and everything. Like, she's just really entertaining. Storm is just like an absolute crazy player. Like, he just tries to do crazy stuff all the time, and it's very entertaining.
Damien has said that he really enjoyed hosting Storm, one of the best players he's hosted.
Yeah, and then, I mean, Brandon, he's just a really good player as well. And then as far as like best non-winners, it's some of the same people: Allie, Zach, Brandon. I think they're all really good. Obviously, Allie was really close to winning season 7. Yeah, it was a 4-4-0 vote. Kyle broke the tie, didn't vote her. So that's a tough way to lose for sure. Only season we've had that happen so far. Brandon, I think he would have won second chance if he had made the end. And then Zach, he's played twice and got 5th both times, and just like been a threat to win both times.
That's a great guy.
Yeah, very strong.
He's Zach is awesome.
Yeah,
and like, look, I had nothing but nice things to say about those guys. I played on All Stars, but I was there to play my own game, and I tried to do that the best I could. But yeah, that's awesome. That's a good list.
You're still in there too, Frank. You're in the top 25 on both.
You're on the top 25, Frank.
I haven't played in so long. I played in season 2 and then All Stars. All Stars was a bad game, so. Like I said,
you just couldn't get your footing in All Stars at all.
No.
Like, you tried.
I tried so hard.
You know, Joe were the two people that I would say, like, no matter what you did, it just like you couldn't get footing. I don't know.
I couldn't get footing. Like nobody wanted to give me. And then even Cole didn't want to give me a chance. And I was like, dude, I'm trying to work with you so bad. Like nobody wanted to work with me, even though like I laid out all these things. Like, come on, just trust me. And they're like, no,
I'm pretty sure at one of the big master tribals, didn't you vote by yourself out of 17 people?
Yes. And then after that, I looked at the camera and I went to my confessional. I was like, I don't care what I do. I'm blindsiding everybody if I can. And so
that's one vote and Frank's the one. No, Frank.
Oh, I was like, when that happened, I was like, I have no ties to nobody at this point. I'm gonna blindside everyone I can. And
it's bad when there's 17 people and all of them lie to you.
So my plan going into, I just wanted to get to merge, and what Zach and Biggs did, how they went back and forth, that's exactly what I wanted to do.
Right.
Because I was like sitting there, I was like, nobody trusts me, so obviously I was like, I just gotta get to merge. If I can get to merge, then I'm just gonna play like a wild man and be like, whatever I feel like doing.
Right. Just whatever I feel like doing.
I'm just gonna do. And I was so close. Like, I think I probably could have rocked with the guys, but like at the time, I was just like, you know what? I'm pissed. I'm just gonna try to have some fun. And when Taryn told me about that steel vote, I'm like, it brought back memories from season 2 where I used the steel vote. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna use the steel. And Taryn's like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, Taryn, let's do it.
That was still one of the wild moves too. Like your season 2 steel vote thing with Wayne. I mean, that changed the game.
I so wish that was on Zoom to see everyone's faces. That would have been epic. Yeah, if that was a Zoom tribal, that would have been epic.
Oh, it would have been so crazy.
Oh, I think there was like what, two an idol played, 2 steel votes played, and I think everyone's blindsided but 4 of us.
Yeah. And it was just like, it was so wild too, because like you guys went into it so down in numbers, and then just the whole game shook. Like,
It was like the crazy.
And you both end up making Final Tribal after that.
Yeah, me and Wayne made Final Tribal after that too. Yeah.
I remember
So
watching
yeah,
that Final Tribal. That was a good Final Tribal.
It was.
That was a really good Final Tribal.
yeah. Wayne was a little upset with me because I kind of like. I had to separate myself from him, so
Right.
I had to do that the best I could. And I told him that afterwards because we stayed on the call afterwards. Me, Cole, and Wayne waited for the results, and I said, Wayne, just so you know, nothing personal. Just I had to separate my game from you for me to have a chance because we were together the whole time.
Right.
And
I think it makes it worse too, because Wayne's one of those people that has like he plays like a big heart game where he's like he really like when he builds that bond. I mean, it means something to him. So it's like I don't know. I guess that makes it worse when it's like
I felt awful because I seen his face when some of the things I was saying. I felt bad at the time, but I knew I had to say some of these things for me to have a chance.
Right.
Because they seen us as a pair, and Cole was the person that wasn't together. And what happened was what I was afraid to happening, where the votes were going to split between me and Wayne, and then 4 go to Cole. Where I think if KT comes around, I might get those votes from Wayne, and then KT would have definitely voted for me at 3, where I could have won the game. That's what I was afraid of.
That's a good point. Like, had you won that final challenge and brought KT, and then
which
Wayne
I for sure would have, I would have felt awful, but
right, and then it would have been it might have been a 4-4-0, and then I mean KT would obviously have voted you to win. So it's so interesting to me, like how in Survivor, like the slightest changes change the entire game, like everything.
Yeah, it's just so like that was my whole plan. And to be fair, I was loyal to KT the whole game. Yeah. So like when people didn't realize this, like I had a deal from KT from day one.
Yeah.
And I kept my word to her and Wayne. I didn't really backstab either one. I did lie to KT in the one vote, but I had to be sure.
Right.
How many votes did you get to win?
Huh?
How many votes did you get to win that game?
2.
Yeah, it was 4.
Me and Wayne split.
Yeah.
And that's what I was afraid of. And the people who split on us were the people we all worked with.
And like I mean, all 3 people played really good. So it was like it was a tough tribal to try and like I don't know, like get a bunch. Like I don't know, it was tough, and especially since Cole had more of his pre-merge people like on the because y'all kept losing pre-merge, so it was like he had more of his allies in the merge phase, which always helped.
Yeah. So all the people he came to merge with, besides Jay, voted for Cole, and all the people me and Wayne were working with voted me and Wayne.
Yeah,
but they split 2-2. Where I think if Wayne didn't come with me, and KT or Gabby came with me, or not Gabby, if Gabby came, she would have voted for Cole. But if KT came with us, and I won that final four immunity, and I brought KT, then I think I would have won with the 4-4 split.
4-4 split, yeah.
Because I think I would have got Michaela's, or was it Michaela's and Aaron's vote at that point?
Yeah, those were I think they both ended up voting Wayne.
Yeah. So I think if I would have got those votes,
and I think both of them actually went into that tribal planning to vote you. I'm pretty sure, but I think they felt more towards what Wayne was saying in the tribal because I mean it was close. Obviously, they liked both of you. Like you were all working together, obviously.
Right.
So like,
and like I'm not mad that they didn't vote for me. Like it happens.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, like I said, Wayne played good too. So it was like, it's not like they were voting, someone bad players.
I would not have been able to do what I did without Wayne.
Right.
And vice versa.
Right.
So
did you vote for the winner in All Stars? Or did you vote off?
No, I was the last merge boot, pre-merge boot.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, because of stupid Edge of Extinction twist.
Sorry.
Because I would have been at merge if that twist wasn't in there.
You would have been. God. You would have been.
Then I would have heard all the madness.
I wasn't going to vote for Paige. I was going to vote for Ryan, but I ended up voting for Paige after Final Tribal.
Yeah, I think that's like the biggest win that we've had still is Paige.
Wasn't she unanimous?
9-1-0, I think.
Oh, 9-1-0. That's right.
Yeah, Jake voted Ryan. Yep, that's the biggest win we've had.
What game did you get to FTC at where you got the least amount of votes?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Torg and Jake with I lost 4-3 both of them.
Oh, okay.
And that's the worst I've gotten. Like I think Broski I won 6-2, animation I won 6-4, and then those I lost 4-3.
I think I've lost two games 4-3, and then I lost Super Duper with 2-4 too, and then I lost Double Trouble. It was like I had 6 votes to. It was like a huge merge. It was like 15 people.
Yeah.
So like whatever that is, she had like 11 votes or something, or 9 votes.
Gotten way farther than me way more times. I won on a 10-2-0 vote, and then I'm the winningest winner in that org too. And then I got lost fire making an RNG.
The funny thing is, the game I did win, I won 4-2, because those two were conceded as a pair. So I was the Cole in the situation.
So the reverse.
Yeah, so it was the reverse where I got the 4-2, or they said things. So it was like it was all happening at the same time, and I got to rebuttal everything they were saying. So they said we did this together, and I was like, well, I did this on my own. Where they didn't separate themselves enough. Where anytime they said we, I said I, because at that point that you have to say I.
Right.
So that was the only game I won, and that was all. They were pretty mad, actually, but it is what it is.
Oh, I trust me, I understand people being mad. I am very good at making people bitter. Very, very strong in that area.
I don't know. I've only played with you in Broski too, but I wasn't around very long.
Yeah.
I played with Vreeland, but do not remember it at all.
Yeah, we were talking the other day. She's like, she said it was season 18. I'm like, that's not even the right season. You're not even on the right season.
I did play season 18 though, because I played season 18, and then they brought me back for. Dude, you want to hear some tea? So they asked me back for season 19, and I was like, sure, I guess I'll play whatever. I had no idea what the theme was until the theme started, and I was like, this shit theme, this is fucking terrible. I hate this theme, and I had zero interest in that season, so I barely I wasn't active that season.
I remember at one point you sat a challenge, and then you said something about like being ready to just start killing challenges, and then we had another challenge, and you decided to sit again, and I was like,
yeah,
this girl, she's just not even playing this game. Like, what is she doing?
I had zero interest. I think I was playing that, and I was playing BBUK All Stars at the same time. I think I was trying to focus more on All Stars than I was during.
And that's why I don't play 2 games. I tell everybody.
I know. Listen, I've learned my lesson.
It's
never again.
And they'll say, "Oh, I can do it," but like, okay, even if you try, you're gonna put more focus into one of the games. It's just you can't put the same focus into both. Like it's like.
And impossible. I hated BBUK. No offense, Ben Jones, if you watch this, but I cannot stand that org. And so like I was trying to like still make jury on an all-star season. So I was like trying to focus on that. I couldn't stand Sid and Julia. They were dead boring. And I was just like, I had no interest in this season. But I was in a good spot, and then I got fucking idled out.
No, so yeah, don't play more than one game. That's one thing I'm definitely going to go preaching into whenever I come out and play again. I'm only going to play one game at a time and take one game at a time.
Yeah, I mean, and we like when we're casting, I mean, we literally tell people that like, oh, I have another game starting, but I can do both, and we're like, you should just play another season. Like, we don't want you to play both at the same time because I want when you play Super Duper, I want that full force like Super Duper, like this is what we're doing, like. And I mean, we'll just, like I said, we'll just straight tell people, like, no, play a different time. Like, I don't want that. Oh, I'm here, but I'm not really playing.
No, I get it. So I'm not going to lie, I sat out so many challenges when I played ETU the second time. I was like, anytime they're like, you want to start a challenge? I was like, challenges are not my strongest suit. I know that. So anytime I can be like, you know what? You're right. I'll take one for the team. I'll sell this challenge. It looks like so much fun. Don't worry, I'll let you do it.
I wish. Every time I'll be like, yeah, I'll sit out. And everyone's like, no, you're not going to sit out. Actually, we need you to go in the challenge. It's like, okay, just because I'm good at it doesn't mean I have to do every challenge. Like, I'll be like, oh, I don't think I'll be very good at this. No, you'll still be better than us. Cool.
Oh my God. That reminds me is during Second Slime, It was like the balloon challenge. You have to like keep up 2 balloons like as long as you can or whatever. I suck at that challenge. Not good at that challenge. Told my whole tribe I'm not good at this challenge. I cannot do it. Dominic Brindle, thanks Dom, told me 2 hours before the comp was due that he couldn't do it and that I had to do it because he wasn't going to have time. And I'm like, I am fucking terrible at this challenge. I don't even know what I'm going to do. Went to do the challenge, lasted 2 seconds. I was like, fuck. Like, this is terrible. I told you guys I was going to be bad. Kicker, I DQ'd because I forgot to say start because I was pissed at how to do it in the first place.
All right, so since you're such a challenge guy,
making me do this shit that I didn't want to do.
Since you're such a challenge guy, has there been like any like entertaining challenge moments you remember from Super Duper or anything like that?
Entertaining challenge moments from Super Duper.
I like you guys' challenge during Super Duper.
I mean, that's hard to think of off the top of my head. I mean, there's definitely some for sure, like especially like some of the like live challenge. I mean, usually the live challenges because the ones that are 24 hours, like they're all spread out, so it's like it's not the same intensity level.
Yeah,
but I don't know. There's definitely some time. I can't think of it off the top.
I will never forget the time that we self-sabotaged in our team challenge.
Yeah, see, that's a great example. Like that didn't pop into my head, but like yes, I remember it vividly as soon as you said it. Like.
I misunderstood the rules.
It's an absolute mess.
And but Michaela had no excuse. I misunderstood the rules. I didn't realize we were playing on the same board. I thought we had 2 separate boards.
Right.
And then Michaela immediately followed up afterwards and did it. I was like, oh god.
And then didn't Cole accidentally like send his list or something? Like it was just like an absolute disaster on both ends. Like both tribes were just messing it up all over the place. And it was like, what is happening right now? Like,
that was probably the craziest challenge I've ever been a part of, probably.
Was it like Battleship? Is that what it was?
Kind of,
basically.
Yeah, Minefield, yeah.
Listen, I did a Battleship challenge in Broski and fucked it all up because the people could not understand. Like I was doing, you guys have played pool, right? You guys have played Cutthroat, right? You know what Cutthroat is? It's like a 3. It's like a 3. You guys know what Cutthroat is? Okay, so it's like you take the 15 balls and divide it into 3. So like I would have 1 through 5, Vreeland would have 6 through 10, and then Frank would have 11 through 15. And you would try to shoot your balls in, and you go in like a rotating order. That's what Cutthroat is. And I tried to do that with Battleship with the 3 tribes we had. So they each had their own board with their own ships. Tribe A would go to Tribe B, B to C, C to A. You know what I'm saying? Or you could choose whichever tribe you wanted to hit.
Right.
They could not understand it. I tried to run this as a messenger challenge. It was the challenge went over 2 hours. It was horrible, horrible challenge. Never will run that challenge ever again.
What was your least favorite challenge?
She played that challenge. It was horrible.
What's the least favorite challenge you've done? And what's your favorite challenge you've done?
Least favorite off the top of my head, I think, was the SOG challenge where they would have a room, you'd close your eyes for a minute or whatever, and then they'd change the room. I hated it because there was people on the cast that knew what the challenge was. So they obviously were like, oh, they really focused. Me, I had no idea what it was. So like, oh, I have no idea. It all looks the same to me because I didn't even pay attention in the first place. So I hate challenges like that where there's like a strict advantage for other people, like based on nothingness. Like, I don't know. So that really annoyed me. But favorite challenge that I've done. Ugh, that's tough, Frank, because I've won so many challenges.
So humble, Vreeland. So humble.
Oh yes, always.
Always.
I like to come up with a stat where I think I have the same amount of individual immunity wins as I do final tribal council appearances.
I cannot say the same. I cannot.
And that's not.
No.
6, I think.
I'm pretty sure that I hold the record in like 3 or 4 different games, so not on the same page there.
I tried really hard in challenges. Okay, I'm just not good at them. I try really hard.
Challenges. Actually, I don't know how bad I did in your guys' season in challenges. There's a couple of challenges I did in your guys' season where I was close. I remember doing.
I don't remember you being like bad. Like, so speaking of bad, though, like we had season 9. Everybody on the cast was absolutely terrible at challenges. Like, and
which
like,
season was that? Was that Tinseltown?
Yes.
Yes.
And like Anthony was winning all these challenges. Everyone's like, he's a challenge beast. And I'm like, no, he's literally doing terrible, but he's just doing better than the other people.
That's the cast I need to be a part of right there.
Facts.
I mean, to be fair, I
Real.
did win some rewards your guys'
Yeah.
seasons, but like I came in second in a couple of immunity challenges. Like I try. It's just like the ones I lost, like Aaron like made a whole, we had to make gingerbread house. He made like a whole city. Like
It is crazy.
like how am I didn't realize he made a whole city, like literally a whole town
Of gingerbread houses and stuff. Like it was like a street with multiple houses. Like it was just absolutely.
Yeah, he had lights. He had lights in them and everything. I was just like, yeah.
This was like Christmas time, so we were like, oh, this will be a fun challenge. And like Aaron just went absolutely berserk. Like this was great. Like, but it was like, how can you compete with this city that Aaron just built?
Yeah. And I spent like 3 hours doing mine.
Oh
And
my
like I was like, oh, I feel I like my chances. And then I got second or third. And I was like, who fuck beat me? And then it showed Aaron's like, that makes sense. I get it.
I understand now.
I don't. And the thing is, he saved himself that round because I told him to vote him out that round, and and he had no idea. He had no idea. So like for him to come up with that, it was just like.
I love creative challenges. That's where I shine, is creative challenges.
So, being a challenge beast, I will say that is one area that I will always lose. I cannot do a creative challenge to save my life.
Challenges. Yes.
I did creative challenge in ETU where it was like picture of like good and evil or something like that. And I felt like I did good. But then I see some of these people, it's like, are you guys professional editors or something? Like
that's how it goes. Like I'll do something, I'm like, this is pretty solid. Then I see everyone else is like, oh no, this is garbage.
Yeah,
to everybody's.
Yeah, this looks like it belongs on the website. Like what the hell?
Mine looks like a 5-year-old made it. Crap.
Yeah.
I remember during Super Duper we did the Tribe Flag Challenge, and I had to do it was like a movie cover or something. Like I made my Brooks versus Vets like a movie poster cover. I spent sorry, Vreeland, I spent 10 minutes on it. I did it super, super quick. Got off work, hurry up and did it. I think I got third or something. I was like, what the fuck? I just.
Oh, you're had some bad people on it. And it was the unknown people for us too, because there was a few of you that we knew would be solid, but then there was the couple unknowns, they just did not have it challenge wise.
Was that your first season? The Rooks versus Vets? Oh Amanda, we can't hear you no more.
I know.
Oh, there it goes.
Okay. Good. Okay, sorry. What was the last
thing you heard? You did it. You got third and you don't know how.
Oh yeah. And then Super Duper did a trick shot challenge, and I loved that challenge. That was fun when we had to do your own hey do challenge or whatever. I love
Frank
that.
did that in his season too.
Yeah, that's how I got my steel vote.
Yeah,
that's how I got my steel vote. Mm-hmm. I have fond memories of that challenge. And then I won the roulette challenge. But I think I just kept putting it all on red.
I think you still have the record in that challenge, actually.
Yeah, I think I gambled everything. I think I gambled all on red almost every time, and I hit every time. And Tony is like, how are you doing this? I was like, dude, I gamble all the time. Like, this is
just
it.
Check. You still have the record for that one.
I love that.
And then I was like, and everybody's like, how'd you do? I was like, I think I did all right. And then I won by double or triple or something. I was like, ooh, I didn't realize I did that good.
I did better than all right.
Yeah. I did. So, but yeah, I don't know. I challenges are fun, but like SOG challenges where you have to practice all goddamn day to do these challenges. I hate those. Give me one or two of those a season, okay. But don't every challenge. I don't got time for all that.
Right. And I mean, there's some of them were so much work just to even put together to where I could do the challenge.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be rocket science for this challenge.
No,
right
I don't mind doing those once in a while, but when I'm doing 5 straight where I have to tie strings up, measure everything, show your measurements, and it's bro, I don't got time for all this. And then you gotta practice because it's it's
complicated.
It's complicated. It's and then the one, I think there was 2 challenges that season where only 3 people the whole cast did it.
Well, yeah, and that's when they're posting the challenges, and every time like over 50% are DQing. It's like, okay, maybe these challenges are a bit much if that many people are DQing.
Like, have one or two of those a season.
Yeah.
Fine. Or like have like your final four be super difficult. I understand it's your final four, whatever. But like, I don't need to do 4 or 5 straight of these. I don't.
Yeah.
Let me do a couple fun, easy twists challenges where I could do real quick and be done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So you guys are coming up on season 12. Was Survivor as a game out? Oh no, what's it?
Gamer Zone.
Gamer Zone, that's what it is.
Gamer Zone.
So you guys have been doing it for what, 2 years now?
Yeah, I guess it has been about 2 years now. Yeah.
So how'd you guys decide to do? You guys wanted to host?
Okay, so we both played that Twitter game, and we were like, "This could be good, but this particular game is not very good."
Yeah.
So let's try and do it ourselves. So we started a Twitter game, and we did that for like, I think 4 seasons, but it's just not as good on Twitter. Like it's just in general, you can't do as much. Like because when we started that, we hadn't played Facebook yet. But once we got into Facebook, we were like, all right, we need to move to Facebook because it is just there's more players. It's just better. You can do a lot more. So that's basically just how it ended up happening. We moved over, and yeah, I mean it's a lot of fun. And like being the two of us, I don't know, it keeps it. Like a lot of people ask, like, "Oh, can we join the hosting team?" And it's like you would not want to join our hosting team. You would get
bold enough to ask that.
You would get no say in our hosting team. Like I would just be like, you would get no say. We would not let you do anything. So it's like you don't. I feel like
I wouldn't want to join a hosting team unless I was asked because they want my opinion.
Right.
But like I wouldn't ask anybody if I could just join.
Yeah.
Lane asked me because he felt overwhelmed. He felt overwhelmed with at the time with what, I mean, he just finished a 28-person cast at that time, you know, and he was like, I need more help. And we talked about, I offered my help. I was like, hey, if you ever need more help, let me know and I'm willing. And then he finally came to me and was like, yeah, we should do this. So, I definitely have extended the olive branch, but I never was like, you should put me on your hosting team. That's so bold.
So are you guys done casting for your next season?
Yes, we just did that like I think 2 days ago now. So we got it all finalized. We're ready to go.
When do you guys start?
A week from tomorrow, the 14th.
Okay.
Well, so that'll be fun. And then as always, like it'll be some stuff based on the theme and whatnot. And then next returnee season will be next season, so that'll be fun.
Okay.
And that will be our first returnee season that is not invite only, so that'll be interesting.
Oh, so you guys are
apps for it.
Are you gonna put apps out?
Yeah, and it'll make more sense once the time comes. I don't want to spoil too much, but it'll be an interesting one for sure. After
well, I'm interested to see what you mean exactly. So
Chris says you sparked my interest. He says.
Maybe. Oh no, who knows? Well, thank you for joining us. We kind of been talking for almost 2 hours now, so
Jesus.
hop off.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I'm sure Tony will probably want to join again eventually now that you did it. Maybe we'll have you both on together or something.
Is there a season that you'd be interested in talking about specifically? Because like we're in the process of watching
All Stars.
Yeah,
All-Stars.
All Stars.
Really back for All Stars, since he's the only one that likes it. So
All Stars will be the perfect season for him to come talk
I mean,
about
it's definitely the season that I'm higher on than anyone else. Like as far as like the general public where they rank, because like I said, my other 4 in the top 5 are all seasons that everyone loves. But that's the one that's like, wait, what? All Stars? Like,
yeah. So I think All Stars would be perfect for him because we had Danny join us for Marquesas, and he loves Marquesas. So
yeah, Danny Payne was like, he was obsessed with it. And then I'm going to snag Edmo for Thailand because he actually doesn't hate it.
That's
blows my mind.
Surprising.
I know.
I'm dreading to watch that season.
Oh, listen, we should do like a fast watch of it on YouTube. You know what I'm talking about? It'd be like the whole season in 5 hours. We should do that.
Thailand's best moments in a 5-minute clip.
Yes. One podcast.
We could honestly, if you want to just
Hey,
binge watch the
listen.
whole season and just cover the whole season in one podcast, I would not be against that because
I'm not
that's
mad
one that
about it.
doesn't need to be dragged out.
I agree.
I could watch that
Well,
one
ask
time and be
Hanson
good.
when he's done with. Did he win at Rourke or not?
He messaged the group. He won.
He did.
So, yeah.
Yay!
So, but all right. So watch out for Super Duper. They're doing the 12th season. So your newbie season will be 14.
Yep, that'll be the next one after this one.
So I recommend playing it. I love Super Duper. So if you've never played Org or haven't played Super Duper, you need to play. It's one of my favorites. So
Part of the Super Duper 9th place club. So hopefully, if I ever return, I can be better.
no, my average placement would be like I think like 6th, 7th, something like that.
I'd have to do the math. That sounds about right, though.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
So extreme one and extreme other, but
yeah,
but like I said,
sounds pretty solid.
Yeah, 6th place sounds pretty solid. I had 2 solid seasons. But yeah, like this was a lot of fun, and it went by really fast, so it didn't seem like it was like 2 hours. So I hope that the listeners definitely feel the same way. We kind of just blabble around a little bit, but that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, join the Survivor Super Duper group if you haven't joined. I'll post in the bio links to all the Facebook group. They're a fun group.
Applications for Gamer Zone, or is it
no?
Closed?
He closed it.
We're ready to
That's
go.
Yeah.
Yep. So be on the lookout for 14 for the newbies. But yeah, thank you for joining us. Thank you guys for watching and listening. It means a lot. Just follow us on any of our podcast locations: Spotify, iTunes, YouTube. Mean a lot. Join our Facebook group. Also mean a lot. We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.